Guys, this is Scrappy Steffi, and I am here with take number 2 of my card challenge. My second card challenge. I did my first one last week with challenging you to use your old stamps. This week I'm challenging you to use dies that you've bought in the past and either have not used or have not used very often. Get those dies out. Pick out a set or two or three of dies that you've wanted to use and haven't used, or maybe you've used a couple of times and then forgot about them. Get those dies out and make some cards. And if you do and you want to do a video response video, please leave a comment below and let us know so that myself and my subbies can go and check out your inspiration, your video. I'm doing this to inspire myself and to inspire you guys as crafters to shop our stash, as we say, and just inspired you to get back to the love of crafting, and also to do some videos sharing cards. I make I don't scrapbook. I do paper crafting. I do altered books. I do altered projects. I make cards. I rarely ever buy a card. I almost always make my cards, and I'll be honest, I'm not a real super fancy, flourishy kind of card person, but generally everybody loves my cards. People tend to look at handmade cards as gifts, and so I'm challenging you to get your creativity going. And it doesn't have to be a 3 or 4 hour card full of fancy doodles. If you want to do that, that's great, and I love those cards. I personally don't have the patience or the wherewithal to spend a lot of time, but I do enjoy making cards. I primarily give out only handmade cards. Very, very occasionally will I buy a card. Most of the time, probably 98% of the time, I make the cards that I give out. So I needed to rebuild my stash up, and I decided to do this challenge as a way to rebuild my stash, but also to challenge you guys and to see. I'd like to see some more creativity. If you want to do a tutorial on your card, that's great. If not, just show us the cards that you've made using these challenge. Every week I'm going to do a different challenge. Last week, like I said, was stamps, using your old stamps. This week is dies. Next week I have another idea, and I'm hoping to do maybe about 6 or 7 of these videos just to challenge everyone to get creative and shop your stash. And if you make cards, let's see what you're making. Let's see how you use the products that we love to go buy. We all love to shop these crafty venues. So yeah. And I'm going to do this hopefully quickly. I already made this video once and had it edited, had it ready to go. Actually had it loaded on YouTube, and forgot that I had left some medicine bottles in the camera viewing showing my name and a lot of personal details, and I ended up having to delete that. So this video is coming after I've already put everything away. So I'm going to hopefully try to be transparent with the supplies that I use, but with the knowledge that I've already put everything away and I've kind of dug through my stash and got everything back out. So I've made 3 cards, and I'll just show you really quickly. The first card I made was a baby shower card. And I'm covering up. I've actually already endorsed the card because the baby shower is today, so I'm going to cover up what I've written on the inside. But this is the card that I used. I used my artsy die set that I bought maybe 2 or 3 months ago at Tuesday Morning, and this is the cover of it. It is the one where you put the doings together. You put everything together. Now, if you haven't used these and you have these sets, I know many of the people have gotten these sets at Tuesday Morning. They were like $4.99, and I think normally they're like $19.99. And Hobby Lobby had them on clearance for $8.99. So if you got them at Tuesday Morning, you got a great deal. I don't have a magnetic base for my Sizzix, for my Big Shot. So I had to actually, this is a leftover tape. I don't need it for this. I just left it on there. I actually had to washi tape mine to hold them together because I don't have a magnetic base. If you have a magnetic base, they should work fine together. The dies do work fine. I made this second scallop using the two ends and then the two bigger ends here. To make the outside scallop and the inside scallop, let me see, I used these decorative scissors, and basically I just laid the inside scallop down and then laid a paper base on the outside and cut around it. I inked my edges with Tim Holtz Picked Raspberry. I've already put the stamp up, but since this is not a stamp challenge, I'm not going to worry about it. But it was it was an Inkadinkado stamp that said "Welcome Baby," and it actually had a stork with it. So what I did was I separated the stork. I just used my water brush and picked up some of that picked raspberry and did a little watercolor there and some, I think that was some kind of antique linen. I wrote 2016. Let me see, I guess it's not coming in really good. Just fussy cut and stuck that on the back. The die that I used in addition to this artsy die, I also used, this was a Heidi Swap set that I had bought, gosh, a couple years ago. And it was on clearance at Michael's for a couple bucks, and I loved it because it had all these little banner arrows, and then it had a little die there. Well, I'd never used it. This was actually my very first combination stamp die set. I had never bought a set that had stamps and dies before, and I was so excited, and then I never used it. And so I actually didn't use any of these stamps, but I used the die, let's see if I can get it in here, to make the bottom of the bow. And I actually made a mistake here. I accidentally put the glue on the wrong side. I don't think anybody who's not a paper crafter will notice, hopefully. This little bow is one of the Maggie Holmes bows that we all got at Tuesday morning. I added some pink sequins and some stickers, and then I just hand wrote her last name. And then on the back, again, the same sheet of paper. Oh, let me show you the paper pad I used. I used this Die Cuts with a View stack that I picked up at Joann's about 3 years ago, and I love this stack. It has just papers for every occasion. There were some holiday type papers in here, Easter, there was some Valentine's. I mean, there was just papers for every occasion. So I did use paper from that. And then on the inside, like I said, I'm going to cover up my, incidentally, this little die cut was this right here that I decided not to use. I used a sticker, added a little pink bow. I just layered some coordinating papers from the paper pad, and then this is just a strip of washi that I've added on the back. My envelope, what did I do with my envelope? I did make my envelope out of a plain sheet of white paper. I stamped, and I don't have the stamp set out, so I've already put it up, but it had a little baby in a little bundle there and hearts, and I just very lightly stamped. And then I added a liner from the same paper pad. So that was the first one that I did. That baby shower was today, so that's why I had to go ahead and do that. Keep this out. My second card I made was, I used a David Tutera card base, and I used brushed corduroy to ink it. This is actually Ranger Archival ink, the coffee color, I believe is what it is, yeah. And then I added some buttons. I did use, let me see, what did I do with that? So these two right here are the dies from this stamp set, which was an artsy stamp set that I picked up at Tuesday morning. And I had never used it. I'd never even taken it out of the package. So I used this to make the little clock, and I stamped it and brushed it, added a little bow. I added a couple buttons here. I didn't use a paper pad. I actually used a single 12 by 12 sheet that I had in my stash. And then on the inside, I used this cutout, this die cutout, and I used one of the stamps. And then I also stamped the little bird over here. And then for the area that I used to write on, I just tore a piece of paper and then I inked it, and I'll write my message on there. So this just says, "Dear friend, live the life you've imagined." And then the envelope, I just cut out a part of this little embellished area right here. I fussy cut it and added it to the back of the envelope. So that was a pretty simple card. And for the last card that I made, because I did make 3 cards, I'll try every challenge to make 2 or 3 cards. You don't have to make 2 or 3. If you just want to make 1, that's fine. If you want to make 2 or 3 and boost up your stash, that's great too. Let's see. I used this paper pad, which is, a friend gave this to me. It came from Walmart, and I probably would not have bought this paper pad myself, but I absolutely love it. I don't typically go for brights. I usually do more vintage shabby chic colors. This paper pad is just gorgeous. It has beautiful, beautiful, bright, vivid colors. And it's so funny because I probably would not have bought this paper pad myself. It has some nice solids to make envelopes with. But now that I have it, I love it, and I have used it quite frequently. It also had some journaling cards of a thicker cardstock in the front. Several sheets in front to make, those are some borders that you could cut out. Some more journaling cards, which I used for the card. I used 2 different die sets. This was my very first die that I had ever bought. I bought it at a yard sale for $5. And at the time, I had the old original Sizzix, the red handle, the one that weighed like 80 pounds, and you had to kind of push down the lever. And I didn't have any dies for it, and so a friend had given it to me. And when I brought this home, this Biggs Sizzix die would not fit in my red machine, so I was so disappointed. But I held on to it thinking I liked the flourish, and I thought maybe someday I would use it. I'm so glad that I did, because now I have a Big Shot and I can use it, and I actually really like this die. And then the other die that I used is a Momenta die, and I used the word smile, which is right here. It came in a 3-piece, love, smile, and laugh, and I got it at Hobby Lobby. I used my 40% off, so I think I paid about $6 for it. The stamp set is an Anna Griffin stamp set, and I used this rose right here and the word congratulations here. And this is the card. Oh, and I used one more. Let me find it here. What did I do with it? I also used, this is a Spellbinders die, so I used the outer edge of this for this card. And then I didn't dig the die out, but I had bought a, I think it was a Brenda Walton die at Hobby Lobby several months ago, and it had, part of the die had some flags on it, and so I did use that for this. I inked all of my edges with the picked raspberry. I did make the envelope with the same paper pad. So this is a smile. It could be, or a congratulations card. It could be for a graduate. It could be just for somebody who got a new job, or took a special trip, or what have you. This is using a technique that I have a tutorial on, and it's just making a card out of a 12 by 12 sheet of paper. And basically you fold it into 4s, you crease it, you ink it, and you take coordinating sheets, either from the same paper pad or just coordinating sheets. And you don't be afraid to mix and match your patterns. A lot of times we think, well, if I have a pattern, then I have to have a solid, but that's not always true. Sometimes it makes a very lovely effect just to mix your patterns up. So I do, if you want to check out my my tutorial, it's a very, very simple project, but I do have a tutorial on making a card out of a 12 by 12 sheet of paper in my list O videos. So here is my card, and I've used the metallic poster board that we all picked up at Dollar Tree, and I've made my banners there. I'm trying to show you the shine. And there's my smile. I've added some bling, and I just took some little flower punch and cut out some little flowers, added some coordinating pearls just to coordinate with the different colors in the paper pad. And I will say this paper right here this striped paper came from another, I think it came from the Citrus stack from Die Cuts with a View. And then on the inside, I did use a journaling card from this pad. I added some more. On this flourish, I actually cut, I just cut part of this flourish here and made it kind of like a stem to the flower head. And then I used a journaling card from this paper pad. I stamped my flower and my congratulations. And on the back, I had a little stamp that came from Hero Arts, I think. It said created by, and I wrote my name. Excuse me. So those are my 3 cards that I made using some dies that I had that I wanted to try out. And I hope that you like these cards, and they're very simple. Didn't take a whole long time to make. Probably what took the longest time was actually just thinking about what I wanted to do. I thought about doing some embossing, and I didn't really feel like getting my embossing heat tool out, to be honest. So probably could have made them a little bit fancier. I did make the mistake of putting the glue on the wrong side there, but I'm hoping that that won't be too noticeable. But anyways, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you would be interested in joining the challenge, please leave a comment below and let us know if you make a video and do a video response. And we'd love to see your creativity. As always, thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.